Okay, guys, welcome to the part 3 of module 1 of our family constellation virtual training. If there are any questions from part 2 when we finish, then it would be a good time to go through them now, or otherwise I start sharing the screen and the
What will
sheet.
happen to the we were having experiencing death?
Yes, I have it in the back of my head, and we definitely have time to do this exercise today.
Okay.
But I want to do it when everybody's here and we have a couple of late arrivals.
Yes.
Yeah. So we do that later. Okay. Any other question?
In yes, in regards to the sibling that
Yep.
dies, and then the one
Do
that
you have a mic? I cannot hear you very well. Oh, that's better.
so much better. Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
So in the case of the sibling
Mm-hmm.
that dies as an embryo in the conception,
Mm-hmm.
that we say that the other one has that missing part.
Mm-hmm.
They feel that something is missing.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something that we, beside constellation, like apart from acknowledging, oh, this has happened, when there is the proof that a piece of that being is in the other person, in the one that is alive?
You mean the lost twin?
Yes.
Yeah, you see that. Yeah.
Is
That's
there
a
a
lump.
way? Is there a way for that person that has the lump to
You have it
to
removed.
beside being acknowledged that this has happened, that's
Yeah.
a sign that you had a brother, because this is a common thing that happens,
Yeah.
if they feel that emptiness, or they have kind of attitude of that something is missing, that they are probably incomplete, or
Yeah, Bernard,
what can you do
that's what you do
beside?
in a that's what you do in a family constellation. When you discover the lost twin, you bring in the lost twin as a representative, and you put him next to the other twin, the one who is alive. And then they will feel this relief and acknowledgement. And then there are a couple of words we say, which we learn next module.
Oh, we did it. We did
We will
something.
learn that next module, how we actually constellate different scenarios, and then there will be like the trauma will be released. Yeah, that's how it works. Okay, very good. Right. So let's go into today's topic. So today's topic is, bring you up there. Today's topic is the third order of love. And the third order of love is balance of giving and receiving. So what is to expect from today's teaching content? We are going through giving and receiving in different relationships. So the first relationship we look at, giving and receiving in the mother-child relationship. We're looking in the father-child relationship of giving and receiving. We are looking into the relationships to the ancestors and how that is balanced. And then we are looking into romantic relationships after our break. Yeah? So let's start with the mother-child relationship. We always start with the mother, obviously. So the mother's love flows towards the children. Remember the stream flowing from the source to the sea. It doesn't flow back. The mother's love flows towards the children, and that doesn't mean she has to do anything. It is a natural, energetic flow, right? She is not giving love through specific actions. Her presence and her care, in whatever way this is performing, to secure the survival of the child, is the flow of love. Yeah. Okay, so I want you to memorize that mother's love is always there and capable of flowing. No mother has to acquire anything, any knowledge, any training, any spiritual guidance. This love is flowing. That's like a law of nature. Yeah. Children are not supposed to give anything back.
What happened in the cases of those women that are abused?
Hold on. Put your questions down in your notebook. Yeah, and please, Gabriel and Werner, yeah, you did it. Gabriel, mute your mic so we don't have background noises. Okay, thank you. So children are not supposed to give anything back. That is also a very important principle in the third order of love. As you know, the river only flows in one direction, right? Water doesn't flow back to the spring, and the children's love doesn't flow back to the mother. That does not mean that there is not love present. Of course, there is love present, right? But what we're talking about in this order is the energetic flow of nourishing love. Yeah. This is not flowing back to the mother. It's not like a ping pong. Mother, child, child, mother. You know, can you see? Ping pong, ping pong. It's like stagnant. It would only be in between. But that's not natural. The flow is it's a river, it's a stream, right? So what are the children then doing with the love they have received from the mother? They are giving it forward towards their own children. Towards their own children, or in case they don't have children, they feel the urge to give their love to another cause, like to other children who are in need, or to animals, or anything where beings are in need of care, yeah, or elderly homes or something like that. So this is in normal circumstances when the natural flow of love is uninterrupted in the family, from mother to child and from child to their own children or to a natural cause. That is how the order is set up. Now, if it would be always so easy, we all would be happy ever after, but it is not. Very often this is obscured, and this is why we need to learn about it, so we can help those people who are coming to a family constellation and where you detect that there is an interrupted flow of love from mother to child. What are the children giving if they don't give love back? They are thankful, they are grateful, right, for their mother, for whatever she enabled life itself, and had the capability of transmitting the energetic love from mother to child. The children's role is to receive the mother's love without judgment, and that's a biggie. And we're often coming to the problem that that's not happening, and then we have an interruption in the flow of love or the stream of life. So common problems in unbalanced mother-child relationships that you find all the time are the child cannot receive. Now, how does that look? In a family constellation, that looks as if the child has resentments against the mother. So you have a representative for the child and a representative for the mother. And the child is standing there and looks at the mother and doesn't want to go towards the mother, or wants to say something like, she was not a good mother, or anything like that. So any kind of resentment against the mother, that is perceived that the child cannot receive. This is resulting and the fact that the child cannot receive the stream of love from the mother. On the other hand, you can also see in a family constellation that the mother is not able to give to the child, to let the love flow. It's not a giving like a gift, it's an openness of the heart to let the love flow, right? And in a family constellation, you can have the situation that the representative of the mother is not capable of doing that. How does that look? That looks like the mother doesn't want to look at the child. The mother probably wants to even turn around or walk away, or the mother looks angry at the child, or sometimes the representative of the mother said, that is not my child, something like that. So this dismissal of the child is often that, or the representative of the mother is kind of unavailable, not engaged. You see it immediately because a mother who is capable of letting the love flow is always smiling at the child. I mean, the representative of a mother is always smiling at the representative of her own child when there is no problem from her side, yeah? When anything else happens, when this smiling and this warmth from the mother is not present in any way, shape, or form, then we have to look at it because the mother is not capable to give or to open up to let the love flow. Another common problem in an unbalanced mother-child relationship is that the child feels superior to the mother. So the child would probably look at the mother and the nose would be up, or the child would say, I feel like I have to look after the mother, or my mother looks so weak, or I feel so, often the representative of the child says, I feel so big, right? Or so tall, or there are lots of hints that are hinting at that the child feels superior to the mother, which is then also an unbalanced relationship, obviously, because this is a situation where the child cannot receive the flow of love. And then the other possibility is that the mother feels weak towards the child. So the mother feels like a child in relationship to her own child. So she would, the representative of the mother would probably say something like, oh, I feel so small. Oh, I really need that child. I feel so needy. I need that child. I need her love. I need. So it's like it's like changed roles. The mother would feel like a child. Yeah, and that is also quite obvious in a family constellation. So these are the most common problems in unbalanced mother-child relationships. There can be others, but they all are managed in the same way. And I will probably demonstrate or explain to you how a normal relationship or a balance, I have to say, a mother-child relationship looks like, and then everything else is unbalanced and needs to be looked at in a family constellation. So let's see what I have here. Yeah. So I explained to you a little bit how that looks. Or maybe, can we do that with a figurine? No, I explained it to you. So a normal or a balanced relationship between mother and child will always look like the mother is looking friendly at the child. She would have a smile. She would say she feels warmth. She feels warmth. She really, or she wants to go to the child sometimes. That's what you hear from a balanced relation. Let's take that away. What I said last, delete that. That she wants to go, that's actually hinting at an unbalanced relationship. But what's definitely a balanced relationship from the side of the mother, she feels warmth, she smiles, she looks at the child, and she's probably open her arms, her hands, and opens her heart while she does this, and really is open for the child to come and give a hug. Yeah. So if a mother, if a representative of a mother is acting like this, she has a balanced relationship towards her child. Yeah. On the other hand, a child has a balanced relationship to the mother if it can look at the mother, feels also warmth and openness, and has an urge to go to the mother, has an urge to go to the mother and hug the mother. And this child would say, oh, I feel so close to her, I feel so invited, I feel warmth. So the representative would find these kind of words. And in a balanced mother-child relationship, you would also enforce that the child goes to the mother and gets her hug. Yeah, that's a good thing. That's what we want, right? Obviously, we are not very often have that in a family constellation because we normally have the problematic cases, yeah? So when you have the balanced relationship of mother and child, that's all good. There is nothing to do, you know. So if the client is the child or the mother, then the problem is somewhere else, obviously, and not in the relationship between mother and child. Now we are looking, how does it look if it's an unbalanced relationship? First of all, the mother. So if the mother does not feel warmth towards the child, or doesn't, let's say that, doesn't feel warm towards the child, that it's very likely that the mother has also an unbalanced relationship with her own mother. In fact, this is always the case. Yeah, because the ancestral line has unbalanced relationship to mothers. So what are we doing here is we are turning around the mother, and I can actually demonstrate that. Shall I do that on the board? I probably do that. Let me swap here to the camera view, and then I do that. So let's take the big figurine. This is the mother, and this is the child. Okay. So, oh, I'll put it closer. So now we don't start with the large figurine. That is the mother, and this is the child. Okay, right. Now, if this mother doesn't feel warmth towards the child, doesn't want the child to come and hug her, and doesn't invite the child to come and hug her, then we have to look at her relationship to her mother, and that is where we put the large figurine. So we put another representative behind, which is representing the grandmother, the mother of the mother. And we would ask the mother to turn around towards her mother. And then we need to find out through asking if the representative of the grandmother feels warmth towards her own child or not. And if she has the same problem that she doesn't feel the warmth and she doesn't want the child to come and hug her, then I make more space. Then we have to put, oh, now I'm running out of big figurines, another mother behind. Yeah. And then we have to turn her around and ask this figurine, this representative, if she or he, whoever is representing the mother, the great grandmother, feels warmth. Now, assuming that this generation, fourth generation, does feel warmth towards the child, yeah, then this child would have an interrupted movement towards the mother, meaning this child has resentments towards the mother, and we are working with that. Yeah. So we are working, and I don't tell you now how because this is module 2, but we are on N4. We are working with that. And when this is clear in this relationship, then you can turn this around again. And now she will be open to, because the love has flown, she will be open now for her child to come. And when this child is not ready to do that, sometimes it's ready because this work here has an impact on this relationship, but sometimes not. So you repeat exactly the same procedure here. So this love from the grandmother through the grandmother through the mother can flow. And then you turn the mother around, and now the mother is open to let the love flow, and then the child can receive it. Yeah. So that's when the mother doesn't feel warmth. This is how you work through it, finding the source of the interrupted flow of love. Somewhere in seven generations, right? You go 6 generations back to find it. Okay. If it is the child, that if the mother is open and wants to let the love flow, but the child doesn't want to go to the mother, has resentments against the mother, feels not invited, or feels whatever reason, then we do the procedure that we call interrupted movement towards the mother, which will be a part 4 when we work with that, until the child is able to open the heart and goes towards the mother. One situation comes all the time that you need to be really aware of and strict, because sometimes the mother wants to go to the child. The mother, so, yeah, you cannot allow that, because it wouldn't help. The child has to go to the mother and get, over this burden, or over, not burden, this obstacle, to move towards the mother. That's important for the child. Yeah. So you can't take that away by allowing the mother to go towards the child, not even one step. That is the healing process, is that the child does away completely. Yeah. Okay. Good. So now questions, Werner, to the mother.
I just wanted, before my question, suddenly when you increase the voice, it kind of, the voice crashes. Do you feel that? Do you feel that too, Gabrielle? No? Okay. There was a couple of moments that you went like, da, 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 and then you went all.
No, Gabrielle, no.
Gabrielle
So
didn't? Okay.
something with your headphones?
I don't know. The volume is not the maximum, it's medium volume.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't know how you
Let's
fix
see.
that. Maybe
Yes, so
without headphones. Yeah, what's your question?
my question was in regards to what happened when the mother is pregnant and not wanting the child, and this is what's happening. The mother rejects the child for whatever reason. She has been abused, or I don't know. An example will be, my auntie had a child of the stepfather. When the child was, I don't know what was the agreement, but when the child was born, she gave a child to her mother.
Yeah.
Then recently, the child turned 40, and the relationship was really bad between brothers and sisters. They're supposed to be brothers and sisters. They were aunties. My mother told her, you should step up and talk to your son, and acknowledge that he is your son. He needs your love.
So we are looking. These are all the stories that the client will tell you, but this is not relevant for you. You're going in the family constellation. You choose a representative for the mother and the son. That's all. And then you see exactly what I just taught you. You see exactly what I
The
just
mother
taught
comes
you,
to the child,
either or not. And then you work through that, like literally, hi, Francesca, like you work through that, like to the letter, what you learn. Don't get sidetracked with the stories. Nothing changes. That's just the drama behind. But the fact is, you see, you put up, they can tell you whatever they want, and you can tell me whatever you want. That's all good. but the moment I constellate, I forget it. Because I only see what the field, the morphogenetic field, is telling me. This is why you don't even need to talk to your client, which is often a good thing, you know, because then you don't have any stories, and you let the field decide what wants to come up. Okay, cool. And I know it's very traumatic when there's abuse, child abuse, maybe even a child that became pregnant from a relative abuser. All this happens. And that is all tragic in one way. But if you facilitate family constellation, for you, that's not tragic. You are not engaged in that. You are there to facilitate a family constellation, nothing else. Yeah. And then you would, with everything you learn here, you would go through like the steps A, B, C, D, E, and see what's coming out and help them with the means that you learned family constellation. And that will be good. That will be the only really appropriate way to help. Okay, so
sorry. Francesca, can you hear clearly in these last sentences, Maya? Yes, no breakage? Then it's my internet then.
Yeah. Maybe you go out of the meeting, Werner, and come back. Sometimes it's that, yeah. Okay, so Francesca, we have looked at the mother-child relationship, but you will see that in the recordings. And you are not the only one who's late. Wilma, for some reason, is not there, and Chica didn't know if and when she can make it. So that's all good. We're just going ahead. And now we are looking at the father-child relationship. So the same as with the mother, the father's love flows towards the children. And again, it's nothing that the father needs to learn. It's nothing that he needs to acquire. It's not to do with a good or a bad father, or if he has any kind of education, knowledge, or experience in being a father. It could be a 15-year-old boy who becomes accidentally father, right? It's a natural, energetic flow of love that is from father to child, even if they never met. Yeah. So we have to get out of this idea the father is present and providing, and that's when the love flows. Yeah. That's not what we're talking about. Yeah. We're talking about the openness to let the love flow, regardless how the situations or the circumstances are. And same as in the mother-child relationship, the love flows only one way, from the father to the child, like the stream from the source to the sea. Of course, the child loves the father. There's no doubt about that, but it's not the flow of the energy. You know, it's not, again, not a ping pong game. Father loves son, or a daughter, child loves father, ping pong, ping pong. It's a stream, right? So it flows. It not bounces back and forth between two people, right? Children are not supposed to give anything back for that. No, that's a natural law. The river flows only in one direction. It's the same as with the mother. The children have to give what they receive in forms of energetic love to their children, or to needed people, animals, or a good cause. So that's how the love doesn't get stuck in case they have no children on their own. So as to the mother, same with the father, the children give their thankfulness or their gratefulness to the father. This actually can only happen when they're grown up. Because with being grateful for what they received, and the knowing and the seeing of the love that has been flown from the Father, one needs to be mature. Children cannot see that in any way, shape, or form. So in real life, the child is not supposed to be thankful towards the children, yeah, towards the parents, yeah. That would be quite unnatural. The children are supposed to grow up, learn something, be happy, live their own life, and when they mature and they have no unbalanced relationship with any of the parents, they will be thankful naturally. And they will naturally have the urge to give to others, either their own children or another cause. That will be completely natural. Nobody needs to tell that, nobody needs to teach that, nobody needs to demand that. That will just happen. And if it doesn't happen, that's when we have an unbalanced father-child relationship. And that's when we come in, because if people have a balanced relationship to their parents, they normally don't come to family constellations. So the children's role is to receive father's love without judgment. That's the same as with the mother, right? Judging the father, he wasn't there. Judging the father, he didn't do anything. Judging the father, he didn't buy that thing, whatever bike, what they wanted when they were 5 or anything like that. These are all judgments. And they are preventing the child to receive the energetic love from the father that was there. And that's when we come in, because this is what happens all the time. Remember, last time we talked about expectations. Judgment is the same. It's hindering, it's like a rock in the river of the love, stream of love. It's hindering the flow. That's what happens. So the common problems in father-child relationships are the father is rejected because he wasn't present, or he wasn't present enough. Now that is an interesting topic, because if you think about it, why would the father be rejected because he wasn't there or not enough there? Because there is a judgment in that he should be able to, he should manage to be there. I need him to be there. And that is then hindering the flow of love. That is the most common reason for an unbalanced father-child relationship. And what we do with that, well, I made demonstrated on the board as well. And then we have also a very common reason for an unbalanced father-child relationship is that the father cannot give. He cannot. He doesn't. He's not able to care about a child. And then we work with that also with the methodology of family constellation in similar ways as with the mother. It has a slightly different twist though. So we go through that. I think we do that on the board. The father has an interrupted movement towards the mother. It's the same as if the mother has an interrupted movement towards their mother. Father can have that too. Father was a child once, yeah? And children do have interrupted movements towards their mother. So if that happened to the father when he was a child, a young boy, then that would make it impossible to him to let the love flow towards his children. So we would work with the father and his interrupted movement towards the mother. And then, and I will demonstrate that maybe just briefly on the board, and then the father can turn around and actually see the child for the first time with love. Yeah. I'm talking about the representative of father, obviously, always. Yeah, we are not working with the father when the client is the son or the daughter. Okay, so let me swap that again, and then I show you that on the. So we have now, let's say father and son. So we have, let's say here's a father, and here is a son. Now let's go over here. Here's the son. Here's a father, right? In the family constellation. Okay, and then the father would express his feelings like, he feels no connection to the son. He doesn't feel warm towards the sun. Uh, all these if you ask about feelings, they would be like neutral at best, right? And there's definitely no urge to go to the sun or to receive the sun or give him a hug or anything like that. If that is the case, we are putting up on the board father and mother of him, which would be the grandparents, right? And then we turn him around, the representative of the father, and then we see where the love was interrupted. Was it towards the father or was it towards the mother? Yeah. So they will tell us, or he will tell us, the representative of these threes, is this the father or the mother line where the love, where the flow of love stopped, has stopped. And now we're assuming, and this constellation, it would be the mother's line, so we wouldn't work with the father at all. He can go back or sit down again, or it's not relevant. And then we would work only with the son and his mother. And if the mother is not able to give, then we continue as we did before and put her mother behind. Yeah. 7 generations we have to play with until we find exactly the point where the love was interrupted. Yeah. So we would turn her around and she works with her mother. That would be now the 4th generation. Let's assume the interrupted movement was in the 4th generation. So we go through that, which you learn in module 4, how to deal with that. And she would be able, when you turn her around, now she sees at her son, which is the father, with love and warmth. And she would smile all of a sudden and she would, oh, and then you can work here. And then if this situation has been cleared, you can turn him around and now he would be able, what he wasn't able before, receive his son. Remember, we don't allow him to go. He might even would like, oh, I want to go to my son now, you know, but you can't allow that. It's very important that the son or the child goes towards the parents. Yeah. So always stop this rush of parents towards their children, even though it feels really good because he has obviously changed and the energy has changed and his attitude has changed and the representatives are all of a sudden open. That's all very good, very well, and we love to see that, but still we can't allow him to rush to his child because then this unbalanced relationship is not cleared. The son has to go towards the father, as children have to go to the parents, not the other way around. Now we are talking about the teacher-student relationship. The teacher-student relationship is similar to the father-child relationship. Any relationship where giving back is not possible is similar to the father-child relationship, right? And I say father-child and not mother-child relationship because the mother-child relationship is unique. There's only this one motherly relationship where you shared the womb and the blood and everything, right? But the father child relationship can be replicated, if you will, in other relationships where giving back is not possible, where the stream flows down. And that is especially teacher-student relationship. The teacher is giving and the student is receiving. Now, what is the solution here to balance the teacher-student relationship if the student cannot give back? Right? What is the student doing? What do you think?
Can you ask the question again? I was reading, I missed it.
So if the student cannot give back to the teacher, because that's like father-child relationship, the child cannot give back, the student cannot give back. What can the student do to balance the relationship to the teacher?
Be
He
thankful.
pays the money. He
That's
pays.
not, yeah, I know he pays, but that is not the balance. That is not balancing out. That is balancing out the time the teacher spends, the material he uses, the education of the teacher.
He has a deep respect, or I mean,
Yeah,
like,
deep respect. Yeah, there's more to come.
Be thankful and
Thankful.
be productive with what he learned.
Ah, here we're coming closer. Yes, yes. So
he honors.
thankfulness,
He honors that
honor.
he honors what you learned
Yeah,
und umsetzen und dann.
yeah. That's it. So that's it. The honoring of the teacher and the thankfulness or the gratefulness towards the teacher is very crucial to balance the relationship. So when you're rejecting your teacher, that is like a child rejecting a father or a mother, or in this case, a father, right? That's the same dynamic. So in fact, the teacher is becoming the father, you know, when because a student who's rejecting a teacher is not able to receive anything. And then there is exactly the flow that needs to come, that the student, when he has learned a lot, has to give it further. So he has to give it at one point to his students. So become a teacher, basically. So if you have studied a lot and you have worked with it and you are full, you feel you're full, you have knowledge, you have experience, you have, you feel you don't feel like a student anymore. You feel like, you have to give it literally, you have to let it go and give it and teach in another way to your students in order to balance what you received out. It's like children giving to their children or to a good cause. It's the same in a teacher-student relationship, meaning when there is enough a surrogate for love, which would be the teaching content, flowing towards you, then at one stage it has to flow towards new people who learn from it. It's like otherwise it's like a lake, think about that, like a lake. So you have this stream. I always use the stream. It's such a good picture from the source somewhere up the hill in the Southern Alps. For us here, Gabriel, for you, the Alps. So there's the spring at the top of the mountain, and then it forms a little winding stream, and then it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's all the love going through generations or through the lineage of teacher. And then there is a lake, a lovely lake in the Alpsee, a lake in the Alps, and there flows everything in. Now, if everything flows in there and the stream wouldn't continue from the lake, well, it would kind of, what does it do? It rises and overflows and doesn't work, right? There's no other way. It has to flow down again, eventually. Yeah. And that is the picture I have when I think about a teacher-student relationship. that the student soaks up all the teaching content, does the own experience, works with all the teaching content, and then at one stage the lake is full. So the student actually becomes a teacher. And it will be quite naturally, because at this stage, there is this lovely saying, I think it's from Lao Tse, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. It's the same the other way. If the teacher is ready, the students appear. So something will happen, and you will be asked, oh, can you design a training, or can you teach me that, or, you know, and then you will think, oh, am I ready? You might not be ready at that time, but you might be starting to think about it and be ready years later. Yeah, but these signs will come, and then you remember this teaching and the stream and the Alps, the lake in the Alps, and then you think, okay, yes, I either do something completely else, I start to give it towards other students. Okay. Right. Now we are looking at ancestral relationships. So remember, the ancestors are generation 4 to 7 in general. We are normally counting ancestors from at least 5. Sometimes 4 are the great-grandparents are playing a singular role, the 4th generation, but definitely from generation 5 on, we call them ancestors. So how do we balance a relationship between a present person and their ancestors? First of all, the ancestors, as you now know, they came first. They are at the top of the stream. So they give and the descendants receive. That's the same principle. The river doesn't flow back. The stream doesn't flow back. The water doesn't flow back. The love and the life force does not flow back, always forward. So what do then the descendant actually give to balance it out? Now, sorry, what do the ancestors give? Actually, they give blessings. Yeah. Of course, they give also love, but the love flows through their descendants. The love always flows through each generation. So in a family constellation, you always have to look, if it's about the stream of love and it's an interrupted movement towards mother or father, you always have to put every generation up to 7. But if you are working with an ancestor who appears in a family constellation to clear an entanglement, what they give is blessings. Directly jumping 4 generations. So let's say there's an ancestor from the 5th generation meeting in the family constellation the representatives of your client, which is the 1st generation. Then what the ancestor is giving is blessing. Yeah. And you would ask for it. You could ask the representative, would you like to give blessings or bless this person? And then they would say, yes, I would love to. Often they do that without being asked, the representatives. So the love, the stream of love is the same as with the parents from the ancestor. They give through their children, though they have to go through the generations. They cannot be skipped. Descendants receive blessings by making their life extraordinary in honor of the ancestors. That's a very, very, very important point, and not to be forgotten in the family constellation. Because this makes the blessing or the energetic love from the ancestors flow, so it doesn't stop with you, flow towards others. Which does not need to be your children. It can be everybody you meet. So to make a good life in honor of the ancestor, that's all they want. And in a family constellation, this is to express that the person is saying to the ancestor, thank you for your blessing. I will take it and make something good out of it. I will make something good out of it. I will lead a good life to honor you. And then the ancestor, you will see the representative will be very happy. That is what makes them happy. Again, you cannot, this person, 5th generation forward, cannot give anything to the ancestor. You know? We don't have this stagnant ping pong situation, also not with the ancestors. Always going, the river flows down. Right? So let's talk about the common problems in the ancestral relationships. The most common problem is that the ancestors are excluded, or one ancestor is excluded, and feel quite angry about it. So sometimes you have a representative who is obviously an ancestor, and he's really angry because he's been excluded. Yeah. And it comes up in a family constellation because the family soul wants to reveal this unbalanced relationship with an ancestor, so it can be balanced again and the love can flow again. This is in family constellation quite obvious because the ancestor would express it. The representative of the ancestor would express it, would feel angry, would feel even saying, I feel excluded or something like that. So it's a very easy fix, obviously, yeah. Just by seeing that and expressing that and working towards the other generations to include him again, whoever has excluded him, yeah, is the healing process. That's very little needed once this is in the open, once this is acknowledged, once this is, I don't want to say discussed, but once this is, yeah, obvious, conscious, spoken about. The other common problem is that the ancestor is not excluded, but he's also not honored. That descendants have resentments to honor the ancestor. So they don't, it's like a child who cannot receive the love of mother or father. It's the same, right? Because the honoring is the surrogate, or if you say the similar energy to the love that flows. So this honoring can be easily achieved when in the family constellation, the family members are found who were not able to honor the ancestor. Why? Maybe same judgment, expectations not met. That's the same, you know, like, oh, my ancestor was a whatever, a Nazi, you know, or something like that. I cannot honor him, you know. But don't forget, it's not about what they do, it's about who they are in family constellation. It's not morals are not our concern. And nor is it for the family soul. So if the ancestor is excluded because he's been found a bad person, then the family soul has a problem. And how do we honor him? And just same, simple. The representative of the person who is not able to honor him has to go through there with the methodology that we are offering, has to go through this emotion of dismissal, yeah, and finally arrive at the point where the honoring can take place. And sometimes we make them, because sometimes they really don't want to do that, and then you say, you have to bow. Just try it, just bow. Take a bow, take a small bow, take a larger bow, or lie on your belly, something like that. No, just a gesture of honor, honoring. Yeah. And then the love will flow. It will come, because this is kind of it's like an energetic ring around the heart or something, and that will just loosen through words and gestures. That's why we use it in family constellation. What else do we have? What is an entanglement with an ancestor? Now, this is a topic that is important because we are working with that a lot. When an ancestor appears in a family constellation and there's obviously an entanglement, the client is not necessarily the one who is entangled with the ancestor. The client who is coming to the family constellation with her or his own problem is revealing this dynamic in a family. That's all happens. But the cause and effect of this unbalanced relationship does not have to do with him. So what are we doing is we are finding representatives who are actually the ones who need to work. And the client's role was only to make that visible, to bring this problem up, to find a solution for it. That is very often the case. So it's not very often that the client who comes and an ancestor comes up is directly entangled with it. It can happen, but it's not what you're looking for in the first place, that the client is entangled with the ancestor. It is more likely that the ancestor is entangled with somebody else. For example, very common perpetrator and victim relationships. There's an ancestor who is either perpetrator or victim. Let's say it's a perpetrator. Maybe in the First World War, whoever has raped and murdered a woman, something like that. Yeah. Now the descendant of, let's say, the family system of the perpetrator, who does know nothing about that. Obviously, nobody knows about that. Comes to a family constellation because she's depressed. And you work through, with our mythology, and all of a sudden there's this ancestor. No, the person, a representative, who feels this anger of the perpetrator and everything else, very obviously. But it's not towards your client, the anger. That's not what you're looking at normally. And the client doesn't see, he just sees his ancestor and he feels love for the ancestor, right? And then okay, we find another person who is now representing the victim. And then the healing process takes place when perpetrator and victim find a way towards each other. That's where healing takes place. So the client who came with his depression, who knew nothing about the situation, will observe that. Who he has or she has initiated it, will observe this healing process and then finds a great relief. And the depression will lift in this case. And there cannot be a direct relationship between the depression and, this occurrence 4 generations ago. So the role is of the client who comes to, when it's regards to an ancestor, is most often to make something visible that can heal. So the client's or the descendant's role is not to fix anything. It's just to make it visible. Fixing can only the perpetrator and the victim. So often the descendant or the client goes in there and wants to fix it. Yeah. But that is not what heals. So in this case, a third representative needs to come who is actually then in our example the victim. So that can be fixed and the client can retrieve and observe it. Hmm? So the right order is here in the ancestral relationship. The descendant is receiving blessings and the ancestor is fixing the problem. Okay? Okay, now we have an exercise coming up. And I probably stop sharing. Yeah. And have you in gallery view. Yeah, that's fantastic. Let's do Q&A first. Is there any questions regarding what we talked about? We talked about the balancing of the relationship from mother to child, balancing or child to mother, balancing the relationship from father to child or child to father, and balancing the relationship to ancestors for the first hour that we spent together. What would you like to ask? Anything or to repeat or look at?
I think I have had another question, but now looking back at the notes, like what concerns me the most is my emotional engagement in the stories.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know if there is any technique that you,
Yes.
because I love stories. I get really involved and I get emotional. I cry and I feel a lot. So if there's something you would advise as a German to an Italian.
That's a good one. Okay. First of all, that is no problem at all. It's lovely to be emotionally engaged, especially when you're South European or South American, very similar, you know, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. When you work as a family constellation, you are not Italian. You are not there. You are a conduit for the morphic field, right? And that's all. And that's what you learn. And that's what you practice. And that's why you're going to love this work, because it relieves you from all this emotion. There's no time for that. There's no room for that. There's no place for that. Nothing. Yeah. This is the only German thing I can tell you is stick to the teaching content and practice that.
It is very inspiring, actually.
Right. And you will see then actually if there's any emotional involvement in general in your life that you actually tired of, you can apply the same principles. You can kind of slip out of your costume of personality and connect with the field. No? And get these moments of relief. And then you start to look at your emotional attachment with a smile, because it's quite funny and it's entertaining, but it doesn't harm you anymore because you're not identified with it. You know, there's another place from where you can look at, and that place finds it entertaining. That's at the best, but it's definitely not annoyed about it. And that's really beautiful when you do the work. You are in this space. You are in this space, and this is why we love it. Yes, Gabriel.
But when they're really very addicted to their drama, like Eckhart Tolle says, it's a part of their life. Do they get easily when they go to the? That's why I'm always a little bit like anxious to work with other people, because how do I really know that they are not in their drama, or they are really not thinking, or that they are really in this morphogenetic field? So
You are in the field. You don't mind. What they do, you don't mind. They can do whatever they want. They don't need to be connected. You are connected. Yeah? Don't worry about the others. You are connected.
really,
Your representatives are connected. The client doesn't need to be connected at all. And they often are not. This is why they are
yes,
there. They have no means to connect. They are too emotionally involved. Hmm? So, as an example, let's think of a traditional workshop situation. Yeah? Where you sit as a facilitator, you have the right side. Why the right side? Because your client is more important than you. Yeah. So, but actually we go through all of this in other modules, but I just saying, yeah, why we are here. Okay. Sitting there, talking about dramas, and often it's abuse as a child, and and you either Bert Helling, and then you have 10 people sitting around in your workshop, right? And they all you start to get like this, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, she's so poor. Yeah, okay, this will happen. So you have two choices. You can let, I say her, it can be a man, you can let her talk without reaction. Just let her talk, because you're waiting for her to stop until so you can start doing your work. Yeah, there's nothing for you to do while somebody's talking like this. Nothing. You could think about I don't know what you're going to cook for dinner. Yeah, that's not your, it's only for her. She needs to get it out, she gets it out. Fine. And then you can start when this is out and everybody in the room is all like this. And then you can say, okay, you take it from here. Put up your mother, your father, a representative, and for you. She has maybe talked about an uncle who has abused her from 5 to 10 years or what. You don't know, right? And you don't care, because you're not working with the drama. You're working with the field, and the field will show you. And either the field is showing you already when you sit there, when you experienced that, you can't expect that when you start working at all. But when you experience, you feel it already when you sit there. But you definitely work systematic through it when you start the constellation as I teach you. And then it will all show. Whatever the field wants, you are connected, whatever the field wants to show, it will show. And all the drama is no part. And she can still be in the drama and still think of her abuse, because there's a representative for her chosen by the family system who will do the work. And she will find a relief, however little it is. But you have to trust the field. That's how it is. And all the other people in the workshop, as soon as you start to work and you're not buying into it, they forget it. They wouldn't even remember what you were saying. So you trust the field, you trust your representatives, you don't need to trust your client. There's no reason for that. That is the beauty about family constellation as opposed to therapy, where you have only your client, and it's so easy to be manipulated, but not in a family constellation. Of course, then in a one-on-one situation, when you do one-on-one family constellation, that's a little bit different. But okay, that's module 5. Werner.
Yeah, I was going to say my experience. You just let me talk, and then she goes like, all right, let's do this and this and that.
Yeah.
So if I have a private one-on-one, and then she will go like, okay, let's see what is coming up. After I talk.
Yeah. For you. Was
so
it
a
bad?
good technique. Yeah.
Good. Okay. So see, Werner wasn't feeling bad about that.
No.
That's good. Very good. Very good. Okay. So we probably want to make a break in 15 minutes. So let's take the time and do our ancestral exercise. It would be a guided meditation. So relax. Find a space where you can sit upright with your spine unsupported and your shoulders relaxing and your jaw and your neck. And then gently close eyes and start your belly breath. Focus on the breath, inhaling through the nostrils, all the way down into your belly. The belly comes out when you inhale. On your exhale, you draw the belly in and let the breath come out completely through the nose. Continue breathing, deep yogic breath until you find this calmness and peace in your happy play where you go with your awareness. You're very relaxed. There are no problems, nothing to think about. There's not even a future or a past in your happy play. There's only you being free, happy, alive. And then you look around you with open heart, sensation of excitement and curiosity, and hold the intention to invite one of your ancestors. Invite one of your ancestors who wants to come and give you your blessing. And you see a person appearing. You might not know him. You might not know of him even. Or you might have seen the face on a photo or not. Whoever comes up, allow this person to enter your happy space. And look in his or her eyes. See what you feel. What do you feel? How do you feel in relation to your ancestor? Just take note of the feeling. And then take also note how your ancestor feels, how he is expressing his emotion. And maybe he or she is saying something, having a gesture. I want to give you something. Maybe they ask you to do something for them. And then you say to your ancestor, please give me your blessing. And you take note of the answers, what he or she is doing. And when you have received a blessing, you say, thank you. I take your blessing and make something good out of my life. Something very good. Something extraordinary that you can be proud of. And I do that to honor you. And then you look over the ancestor in the distance and you see far further away lots of other ancestors who are watching, smiling, waving, cheering, being so proud of you that you came. So much love. Behind all of these people, you see a beautiful white light illuminating everyone. You look towards the light and say from the bottom of your heart, thank you. Then you take a deep bow towards your ancestor and the group of ancestors. And maybe the ancestors putting his hands on your shoulders or head. And then you come up again. Slowly until you're completely straight again. Look one more time in the eyes of your ancestor. And then you turn around and come back into your room. Feel the heaviness of your feet, your buttock on the chair. And in your own time, you open your eyes and then take a stretch. Stretch your shoulders, your neck. And when you're ready, you can unmute yourself and we have a bit of a check in what has happened. All right. Anybody want to share?
I got a little confused to start with because I thought of my grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
an uncle, and
Mm-hmm.
then this character. I don't know who she is.
Mhm.
It's a woman, and she was gray and like
Yeah. Hump. With a hump.
from my mother's side, because like on my father's side, everybody is a lawyer, and so they all know each other and they know the whole story of the family. But on my mother's side, they were agriculture, so they don't know anything.
Ah, yeah.
And no tradition.
Mhm.
And I think barely anybody's going even on my grandfather's graves. I did go once, but it's far from where I lived. And this woman was, well, this might be in my mind, but I had a feeling she was connected with the line of abuse in my feminine
Mhm.
lineage.
Mhm.
And she, I think she asked for prayers somehow. Shall I just,
Mhm.
and then after there was a client, like the energy was positive. It wasn't bad. It was like I felt blessed and
Mhm.
loved.
Mhm.
And after we did the meditation, and I could see her eyes, and they were my mother's eyes, very
Mhm.
green, bright eyes.
Mhm.
And then it's funny, but so this is the necklace I've been wearing for years. Every time I start a pilgrimage and traveling, and my goal in all of these trips has been balancing masculine and energy, masculine and feminine energy. And it broke right now, and it means something to me.
There we go.
It does mean something to me. It's like
What
pretty
does
shock.
it mean for you?
Well, I take it as a good sign. It's like
Mhm.
you did your trip. I'm going to Cape Ranga still. I didn't wear these for months, and then I put it back on going to Cape Ranga. And I came to New Zealand exploring my shadow with these on. And then I took it off when I was in Christchurch, and now I started again, and I was back at the work, you know. And now I think I'll need to find another place for it. You know, this I went on the St. Michael lines. There's all the holy places. It's like Mont Saint Michel, Chartres, all the
Okay. And it broke when you met your ancestor.
yeah.
Yeah. Who wanted you to pray for her.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
definitely whatever this symbolizing is probably over.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
very
Move on. Thank you for sharing, Francesca. That was really impressive. Anybody else? Gabriel, Virna?
For me, my Urgroßmutter, what
Yeah,
is
their
in
great grandmother.
great grandmother.
Urgroßmutter, great grandmother. Yeah.
Great grandmother came up. She was a very strong woman, and when I made I got for me in the meditation, it was very hot, the whole body, and especially the back, very
Mm-hmm.
hot. And I saw the grandfather and grandmother of both of my parents,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like blessed, and l- I had the feeling they like me, like it,
Like you
they look after me.
are. Mm.
So I've and actually I liked the great grandmother. She was a very she I mean, when I met her, when I was a child, she was already on her rollator, but she was a very strong woman,
Mm-hmm.
and she came up immediately.
Nice. Did she give you something or ask you something or
No,
anything?
they just show up, and they were like around in pictures where I met, like I saw them when I was a child, because and they were just like I mean, I had the feeling that they bless me, and there was
Mm-hmm.
no bad feelings, or there's no, but I got very hot.
Yeah.
It was
The
really
back.
hot. Yeah.
which is wonderful sign because the ancestors are in your back supporting you, and that's when you feel hot, when you feel the support, right? When they are there to strengthen you and to support you. So that's what you felt. Beautiful. Very nice. Thank you. Verna, you want to share anything?
I almost fell asleep. It was really, the experience was really light, very, you know, as we were guided. I felt very calm, very light. And then meeting the ancestor, I was like, oh, nobody came. But then I saw a lady.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I saw hands, but I wasn't sure if it was a lady, a woman or a man. Mm-hmm. Then later on, I saw the lady look like an auntie. Is my grandma's auntie. She looks like her. Very white hair, very, very old, looking older to the one that is still alive. And she had a package wrapped in brown with a string and everything. And but we didn't talk or anything. I just saw, when you say, and there are other ancestors, I saw them kind of a little bit far in groups with a tiny candle. Yeah.
Oh, and what happened with the package?
I didn't open it or anything. She didn't talk, but it was all kind of light and harmonious. I was kind of like, I don't know, very kind of going and coming. I felt like I was going to sleep.
Well, very relaxed though.
It was nice, relaxed experience.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Nice. Awesome. Great. So we have our break. It's 40. So we have 10 minutes. So we meet again at whatever 50 it is. 6:50 a.m. and p.m. See you in a bit. Yes, working well today. So, and I do share the slides again. So now, for the second half of part 2, we are talking about what is probably a good term is romantic relationships. That doesn't mean that they are romantic literally, but that means that they are equal. We are talking about relationships where two equal adults meet. So in the first half of the part 3 of our module 1, the orders of love, we have talked about unequal relationships, right? Where the stream of love flows down. It is either from the parents to the children, or from the ancestors to a descendant, or even from a teacher to student. But then there are also the other relationships where two equal meet, where there is no stream flowing down. This is like our permanent lake. So to speak, probably frozen lake, something like that. And this is where we meet partners. They can be same sex, different sex, young or old, that doesn't matter, as long as we meet them on this level, equal, from equal. But Hellinger, he was, he was a bit old-fashioned, I think, and he was an ex-priest, ex-Catholic priest, for those who don't know that. And I always had a little bit the suspicion that his worldview of a family was a little bit small, right? So there was not much same-sex going on. Like in teaching or in the workshops, not that I know of. And he was always, when he had a gay couple, or somebody, a client who was gay there or something, he was always looking for the entanglement with the opposite sex. So which then causes, so to speak, the the preference, the sexual preference, or something like that. So that's just from the top of my back of my head. I remember that. Have seen a few times. However, that doesn't matter when we are talking about romantic relationship. We cover all of these. We don't mind this stage any kind of sexual preferences. So what is different? That's what we want to know. What is different, and how do we deal with this in a family constellation situation? And to go into this topic, I would like you to start with introducing your partner or your ex-partner. So, did you bring a photo? I brought one.
I can't see it very good. Can you hold it in your? But there he was young.
Yes. He was very young. This is how I like to remember him. This is when we met.
Yeah, because he looks very young then.
Yes. He looks nothing like this. Yes, I think I haven't seen him for a while.
This is your husband?
My ex-husband.
Yes. Ex-husband.
My ex-husband. We are divorced since 15 years now, I would say. 15 years roundabout. His name is Hubertus. He, what can I say about him? We had a lovely time at the beginning, and then then we had a lovely son, beautiful son. And then it was not so lovely anymore. And then it was time to part. And the good thing is it was very amicable. And, we dealt with this very well. However, unfortunately, he wasn't staying in this amicable situation for the last years, but that's another thing. I don't need to dwell on that. So there are some challenges, but I'm really grateful, I have to say, for the time we're together and for our son and everything else. And we had also a lot of fun, and we did some really cool things together. And I know that he enabled a lot in my life. And then also he, through his actions, which were probably not so nice then, he enabled me to free myself. And my whole journey after that, including coming to New Zealand, everything else, and doing what I do, was only because his behavior was such that I couldn't stay. Because I was growing up with my parents, that you stay together until death, So I thought, and that's what my parents did. So I thought, if I ever marry, then that is it. That's it. So it took quite much to convince me that that wasn't the correct way to deal with it. So that was my ex-partner. So who wants to take it from here?
Me.
Yes.
I brought a picture from the garage, but I took a screenshot of the photo. Can you?
Now, see? Yes, in the background, right?
Yes.
He's in the background?
Yes.
Yes, I can see him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So as the same, we had 25 years difference. And well, lovely partner, like husband. We had our goods and our bads, the ups and downs. It was a great relationship to grow and learn, let's say that it freed me from my family. I traveled a lot. We had a lot of fun. We had some anger to share, some immaturity to share. Everything, the good and the bad. Until, one day things start looking like we can't be together. Yeah. Even though he said, oh, I love you and I showed you my affection. There were things that even we tried to work it out, it didn't work out. a week or two after, everything was repeating, coming back again. So I got over it and got ready to, step out. But it was lovely. Yeah. At first, when you go through a divorce, it doesn't go amicable.
Okay.
Because you're dividing things. But then nowadays we can talk, we can see each other's faces, we can talk about whatever. Yeah. We don't go into deep, but we can talk, and that's important. In
And you have children,
relationship.
do you?
Yes, two girls, 20 and 17, and he always was loving and caring for them. They came first. If I was yesterday when we were talking about Gabrielle being in the between, I saw myself, if we were together, my oldest daughter was going to be kind of taking kind of that position. The children were going to be there, and then Virna. Yeah. So yeah, good things. I'm happy with the present.
Does he have a new partner?
And girlfriends here and there. Yeah. Yeah. Since then, he has. This is the second one he has. Yeah. Not official.
And he's from New Zealand.
No, he's from England.
So, and you moved together to New Zealand then?
Yes.
Or
yes,
you met each other in New Zealand?
We met in my country, in Venezuela. And we traveled to, when the, September 11th happened, we left the country end of October and December, beginning of December. No, 11, mid of October, we went to the Middle East. It was kind of a terror time with the Al-Qaeda and all this thing. And we stayed there. He was working with the oil company.
Oh, yeah.
And we stayed in the Middle East for 3.5 years until we came to New Zealand. So we've been here for 15 years.
So one child is born in New Zealand and the other child is born in Venezuela.
In Muscat, in Oman. Yeah, one in Venezuela, one in Oman. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. So who's next?
So I'm single, and as we spoke before, there was a kind of relationship 3.5 years ago. There's no picture. So
it wasn't a very deep relationship then.
So there is no. Yes, I in former times you didn't make. I mean, I was never this person who took so many pictures before. So there's somewhere any pictures from any ex-partners, but I don't know where. So I don't watch them.
So that's fine. So you feel there's nothing left of, there's no traces.
Never know. I never know. You never know. Never know.
Well, that's fine. We might find something, might not.
There's no bad feelings, but there's no pictures where there's somewhere any pictures, but I don't know where.
That's okay. No worries. Is there anybody you want to talk about without picture? No.
It's so far because I'm single. I think at least now 4 or 5 years or 3.5. I don't know. I'm bad with numbers. But yeah. Okay. There's no bad feeling, but as I told you, I don't know. There's no. I'm not looking for somebody. So I don't know if there's have any deep, yeah. Ich weiß es eben nicht, keine Ahnung.
That's fine.
No.
Don't worry. You don't need to look for something where there's nothing.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Francesca.
Yep. I'll share the picture. Maybe.
In the chat. Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. Now it's complicated. Wait. Okay. this one.
Yes, coming up.
So this is David in front of the David in Italy.
Files with this extension may be harmful to your computer. Huh?
Again,
Always no. My computer's warning me from this file. I will download it.
it's just a JPEG.
It's just a JPEG. Okay. Did you all get it? I have a moment. Just a sec. It's downloading.
Why that? It's different from the other time.
Yeah, it's different day. He didn't like that.
Didn't
My computer didn't like this file for some reason. Anyhow, you go ahead. I just patiently wait for it to
Yeah.
download.
So this is David, and he's standing in front of the David statue. I forced him to do that. And so I met him while I was walking on the Camino di Santiago, which is a long walk. And it was the first man I was with after a long time being in a chastity vow, like 10 years. And actually the first man I was with after starting understanding the consequences of my sexual abuse. And one of which was the chastity vow. And he was the sweetest man ever. He was super protective and super, it's like I would be like, it would be like fixed. He knew he wanted to be in his city, and he knew he wanted to be with me. He wanted me to move over there, and he'd say constantly that you love me and be so honest and everything. And I would be like going around like crazy one. And we weren't together for a long time. That was a year, and we were far. So you'd be in Spain wanting me to move there, but I wanted to convince him to move somewhere else because his city was just too remote from me. And that didn't happen. And so we split up after a little bit more than a year. And yeah, it's like it was super, yeah, like very good for me to restart opening up to men. And I think of him very, very sweetly. And I know I'm not in love, and I probably wasn't, but I did need cuddle. He was with me, like we ended up together like right before my father died. And I felt as if the universe was providing me with some masculine energy I really need back then, because very much
wonderful.
facing that. And he was the kind of guy who wouldn't trouble me in any way. It's like making me feel always protected, no mind games and stuff like that, which I went through quite a lot after him. He was just not that kind of person. He is actually still alive. And and that's it.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you for sharing. How is your relationship now?
He was like, he's a very much of a Latin Southern European. So he was like, no, if I can't have you, I can't talk to you. And
yeah, okay.
And so he basically doesn't, but he did call me. I don't know when that was. I think I was in New Zealand already. And he called me and he said, I'm doing okay. I'm happy to hear that you're fine. And I told you I needed my time, but you can always count on me. Also, he calls me randomly. He called me once. I had been with a Dutch guy and I was so worried I'd be pregnant. And he texted me that night saying, if you ever get a child, I want to be the, when you give the blessing to the child in the church.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me?
There's a lovely connection, obviously. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. A soul agreement somehow. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wanted to be the godfather.
And I was
Yeah.
like, not tonight. And I had a dream that I remember very much, and you'd be like a king in his city and wanting me as if I was like a peacock or a beautiful, funny character, and he wanted me in his palace, you know. And he did love me and liked me, but he just wanted to own me in a way. It wasn't the kind of love I could really be happy with.
Nice. Thank you for sharing. Right. Okay. So he has to go now from my screen.
Yeah.
Make room for the next. So what are we talking about? So when we are talking about relationships now in this upcoming hour, we are talking about a relationship where everybody's equal. How does balancing of giving and taking looks here? So giving and taking has to be balanced, and each partner has to be in a position to equally give and receive. If that is not the case, we have problems. And practically all problems are resulting in this very simple principle that the relationship is not balanced. Just to say, money is another form of energy. Somebody mentioned that just today. So it can also be given. Yeah, Gabriel, we talked about that with teacher and a student, right? Now here, when you teacher and student is what different, but here, if there's nothing else, money can be also given or received, right? So that's part of it. Not only, but some incidents make that valuable. Let's put it that way. So what else, if we take the money out, is giving and receiving in a relationship? Now that's what we want to focus on, of course, right? That's the next one. So let's stay with the one before. What else is giving and receiving in a relationship? So let's go through that. What would you think? Throw it out there. What do you give to a partner in a relationship? You can all unmute yourself and just
Support.
Support, yep.
Love, friendship.
Yep.
Heal. You heal them as well.
Healing, okay.
You can trigger them.
You heal them, or you give them more, even more hurt.
Wounds.
What did you say, Franziska?
No man, no cry, or no man, no problems.
No,
I can't hear you. Yeah, say something.
Say anything. I was thinking. I'd say cuddles. That's what I go for.
Yeah. Cuddles, care. What else can you give? Your time.
Nourishing.
You can nurse your partner. You can give them security. You can give, what else?
Unconditional love.
But that's nothing you give. You can give them a hard time.
That's why you cause a wound or heal or trigger.
Yeah. Okay. So you can give affection, you can give time, you can give money, you can give care, you can give support, you can give support. We said that you can give nourishment. Yeah. So I think we covered most of it. Okay, so that's what you can give and receive in a relationship. What happened now if one gives more than the other? What do you think?
One will be worn out. Who is
worn out? The one who gives more? Or
the giving, and not receiving is being depleted. will feel the victim,
Mm-hmm.
and the receiver will be the lazy one, just receiving and
Overloaded.
could be
Overloaded.
overloaded. Yeah. Mm.
That's the point. The one who cannot give as so the most common problem that leads to an unbalanced romantic relationship is that one is giving more than the other, and the one who is not giving enough back feels overloaded, overwhelmed, right? And because this person who is receiving more than they can give cannot bear that. And guess who is normally leaving a relationship?
The overwhelmed one.
Yeah, not the one who is exhausted by giving and giving, no, the other one. Because they find it hard, if not impossible, to balance the relationship out. And that becomes a burden. And then this burden becomes suffering. And then obviously there's other reasons will be found that gives way for an exit out of the relationship. That's high. That's high. That is why to balance out, if you want to stay in a relationship, to balance it out, you be careful with giving as well. Be very careful and conscious that you only give as much as the other can receive. Not as much as they give. It's not like, okay, you bring me flowers, I bring you flowers, and you wait there. What's the next? What he's doing? He brings me a bottle of wine, then I give him a bottle of wine. That's not like this. So what is it? If you give something to the partner, you know he can receive it. Yeah. Example. If he can receive it and balance it out. So example, if you say to your partner, I'm going to love you till the moon and back, how can your partner balance it out? How can he even receive that?
Yeah.
It's practically impossible.
He cannot imagine that. And then, okay.
See? So that's just one drastic example where we very innocently you overwhelm a partner with something who he or she cannot receive, let alone balance out, right? What would be a much better strategy? You could say, I'm cooking you a lovely dinner tonight, and then after you can massage my feet.
And then they're going to say, I didn't sign up for that. I didn't say yes.
So that would be something really easy to balance, right? And both.
Before he loved you from the moon to the back, then he gets something to eat and a massage.
No, I wouldn't recommend to say that.
It's just a joke.
Right. So that is so overlooked. Yeah, that is such a simple truth, so overlooked, right? And this is why relationships really don't work, because the focus is not on balancing it out, because we are not mature enough to do that to start with. That's the problem. So well, we come
I had those experiences before I got married. Lots. Like I was the one giving and wanting to this and the annoying one. I want this, I want that. Can you come? Love, let's go. Talk to me. Call me. Hey, bye. Hey.
Yeah. See, hard to fulfill this. Also, also the judgment is then, so if one is giving all the time, this one starts to judge. No, why am I not receiving equal? Like I feel like I don't get anything, and then that's a judgment. So you're not only overwhelming the partner, not you. I'm not talking about you. Just saying, yeah, one.
Example.
One is overwhelming the other partner with lots of giving and not focusing on if that can be received and balanced, but then also starting to judge the partner, that he's not or she's not giving equal, And then this is a kind of the scenario where the relationship is not balanced and cannot most likely not continue for very long. So common problems are in relationship. That's what we talked about. One is giving too much, one is not receiving. Giving these unrealistic things, forever love, right? So I will love you forever. How do you balance? How do you even receive that? How do you balance that? Very difficult.
Forever. That's terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. It's terrifying when you're at the other end of on the receiving end. This is terrifying. Exactly. So we talked about that. Who is going to leave an unbalanced relationship? The one who cannot balance it out. They feel trapped. They feel as a failure. They feel bad about themselves. And that's why they have to leave, because they can't, stand it. Because you're in a relationship, not because you love the other partner, but you love yourself in the relationship. You cannot love the other partner truly because you don't know the other part. You never knew another person, but you love your own beingness together with the other. That's what you really love. And that's why we are, so when we're in love, that's where we are addicted to almost. The feeling that the partner makes us feel good about us. Yeah? Partnerships or relationships are not about this conditional or romantic love as we might think. That is might the initiator, but this is all, as you're very well aware of, going away somewhere one day. This is not lasting. And then something else must be there. A common ground, a common goal, something common that you want to achieve together, which is better to go together than alone. And then the work is to balance, make sure that the relationship is always balanced. And the most challenging time is when a child is born, normally. Yeah, because then there's a third person. And that changes everything in a relationship. So we go to the child later, because first of all, we want to talk about how do we balance and what Bert Hellinger says we're balancing in the good and how we're balancing in the bad. Because we can balance both ways. And he had a lovely way to explain that. He said, if you want the love to grow, you have a relationship and you want the love to grow towards each other, and somebody did something good to you, so the other person did something good for you, you do something a little bit better. Not too much, so the other is able to receive it and add something on top as well. So everybody is adding a little bit better on top. So this is what makes the love grow. And the same you can balance, but you can balance out in the lesser, in the bad. Let's say in the lesser. So you receive something and you give something to balance it out, but it's a little bit lesser. And then the other, aware of being in the need to balance, give something even a little bit lesser. So you can feel where this is all ending. It will ending in not giving anything anymore. Because it gets lesser and lesser and lesser until there's nothing. Yeah. So that doesn't let the love grow, obviously. Right. And then there's the other thing. You can also give something bad. So if your partner is doing something to you which is not good, you have to balance it out too. You need to balance it out. It's an eye for an eye. But if you want the love to grow, you're not balancing it out in doing something more bad. You're balancing it out in doing something less bad. So, for example, you find out your partner's cheating on you and you want the relationship to persist, yeah? Then you would not go and cheat on your partner because that would be equal balance, but it would not let the love grow, right? So you would flirt with somebody else and let him know about it. So that is balancing it out in the bad, but a little bit less bad than what he did. Yeah. And then if the partner is aware of the need of balancing it out, then he would also do something bad now that you have flirted with somebody and let him know, but it would be a little bit lesser. So he would definitely not cheat anymore. He would flirt, probably, I don't know, just an example, a little bit less. Yeah. And so it would get less and less until nothing bad happens anymore. And this is how the love grows. Of course, if the love is, if it's not the common goal of the partners to let the love grow, then they're probably balancing it out and doing something worse. And that is obviously the end of the relationship one day. Yeah, Gabriel.
Because I have I have friends of mine, they're lying both. So and I know them. I mean, it's getting worse and worse now. I said, okay, I don't want to know these stories again, because I had contact with him and her. And I think at one time, if you lie and you do all this stuff, for me personally, I wouldn't trust. If there's a game, then how can you trust each other again?
Exactly. That's not working.
I mean, what I think, do I have to, if there's always games or lying, that for me personally, my love would not grow. It would be
less
like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
I mean, if it's once or twice, okay, but it's like a part of the relationship.
Yeah.
All games, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess some people are born for that and like the game because
maybe they like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling my mother this morning, it's like I don't like this little game of paying attention what the other person is doing, what the person is this, what the person is that. No, you kind of with your peace of mind and carry on, living the life, giving like she says, and balancing. Things can go down and up and growing and learning, but checking, you're doing this to me, no.
Well, I definitely agree that the preferred method of balancing out is in the good. Always a little bit better, and so the love can grow. That's definitely the preferred method if you want the relationship. But I agree with Gabrielle, not everybody is like this. They have their games going. And so that'll be. So let's talk about forgiving and forgetting. If you cannot balance something out, if it's impossible, let's go back to the cheating. Yeah, your partner cheated on you, but you don't want to have anything to do with that. You don't want to flirt with anybody else. It's just not you. Yeah, you can still balance it out with forgiving and forgetting. But this forgiveness needs to be forgetting, not, oh, I forgive you. This is arrogant, right? It is a forgetting, that you forget the incident. It's deleted. So you are not cross, you're not thinking about it secretly. It's forgotten. Yeah? And that would be balanced then. So that's another way to balance out in a relationship. and kind of reset and start new, right? This is what Bert Hellinger says about intimate relationships. He says that the intimacy decreases with the firstborn child, and I absolutely agree to that. I could definitely in my own life witness that. Not that it has to be, but there has to be something else coming then, right? So, but the relationship can expand into something greater than just intimacy, right? And that's actually where we are looking at if we are looking at long-term relationships. It's not the intimacy that makes it long-term relationship. There's a common ground why you are together. It could be karmic, it could be a soul contract, or it could be a mutual goal in this life. No? This is the way to stay in the relationship if both partners appreciate the widening of the relationship for the sacrifice of intimacy. So they open up to more possibilities in their relationship, right? And not only focus on intimacy. Now, that's very common. It's very common that when the first child is born, that the mother is really focused on the child. This is natural, hormonal. That's how, how it works. And that the partner feels left behind, especially if he has an interrupted movement towards the mother, meaning that he is in his own entanglement still a child in the need of a mother, right? And then his partner becomes a mother, is happy and focused on the baby, then this all comes up for the partner. And this is then if the only solution is intimacy to solve that, that's what he wouldn't get because the mother is busy with the baby. No, and the intimacy is not important anymore for her, and that is often where relationships start to brittle, right? To start to fall away. So talking about transgender and same-sex relationship, I have touched it briefly from my memory. If Bert Hellinger was working with it, he was always looking for an entanglement in the gay person who he was working with another sex. So we haven't talked about the details of entanglements yet. Anyhow, it's not necessarily part of our first module, but just as a rule of thumb, entanglements are often in the same, either woman to woman or man to man, right? So that's practically the most common entanglement. Yeah. And then, of course, it could be also man with woman or woman with man entanglement. And that could cause also confusion with the own sexual preference or with the own gender. Right. However, I found through my experience with family constellation, it does not matter. Yeah. Because if somebody is gay and comes to you, they don't want to get rid of it. They don't come to you and say, "Oh, I'm gay, but I don't want to be gay." If that would be the case, it would be fantastic. You could work with these entanglements and this cross-gender entanglement. But that's not what happens. A gay person comes to you and has maybe an addiction or something, and that's his problem, but he definitely wants to keep his partner or his, his preference for sex, or transgender, for example. Doesn't want to transgender back again. So if not the focus of the client is on the sexual preference, if it's just happened to be, whatever comes up in a family constellation is okay. We don't need to work with it. We work with it, but not for it. Yeah? Understood? If there's somebody, let's say, there's another example which we probably should talk about. So if somebody is in the hot chair, client, and is really unhappy with a sexual preference or feels like the opposite gender and is unhappy with that, yeah, then you work with that. Obviously, that's strong. That has a very strong energy, and that is in that needs to be looked at. And then it could be anything. It's again, you go with the morphic field, you go with step by step how to facilitate, and it will show up what the problem is and the solution as well. So there is no need for any anticipation. Yeah. So no need to look for an entanglement with a different gender. That's no need for that. It will either show or not show. Could be something different. Could be something completely different. Yeah. So I would just, if we're talking about romantic relationships and balancing giving and receiving in equal relationships, it's the same, not depending on the sex. It's the same for every gender. Yeah, and same sex and everything. They need to balance it out. Everybody needs to balance it out. Whenever, if you have a same sex or opposite sex relationship, it doesn't matter. Same principles apply. So we are having an exercise. We're gonna meet our lovely partner that we have brought to the table with a photo. And I was thinking, let me just quickly check what's coming up. Oh no, there's not a lot more coming up. Okay, we do that all together. So we do that. And so question is, everybody wants to do that? I don't want to force that on anybody. Who would like to? We could also do it like in a kind of a constellation, if just one wants to do it.
I want to do it, but what if I have another question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to know, what is it with friends?
Friends. Yeah.
As opposed to partners?
Same thing, really. Same thing. Friendship grows
The same way.
when you give a little bit more in the good, or if you hurt them a little bit more than in the bad.
But then never appear in a constellation, right?
Friendships are never really coming up in a constellation because it doesn't seem to be an issue. I mean, I have actually not seen friendship in a family constellation. Remember, a friend doesn't belong to the family system.
Yeah, that's fine.
We have to go back to part 1, belonging. So that's where we always start. If the friend would be part of the family system, he has to be a perpetrator or victim, an advantage giver or an disadvantage giver, or a partner or an ex-partner. That's the only way he can become part of the family system. This is why you never see friends there. No? Okay. But talking about balancing relationship, of course, the same applies to friendships. Yeah. Okay, let's come back to that. So who wants to actually look at the partner? Both of you. Okay. So why are we not doing like a mini constellation with each of you? Wouldn't that nice? Yeah.
Better.
Yeah. Okay. So then I just let me just quickly check how much time we have. Yeah, we started late anyhow. We started 10 minutes later, so we have half an hour, at least not half an hour. Okay, let's start with Francesca. Yes. Okay, so let's take our typical 3 breaths to relax. And when you feel you are in a good place, Francesca, then you open your eyes and you choose either Gabriele or Virna for yourself and the other one for your partner.
There's also my cat here. She can also take part.
I don't think a cat takes part, but she's very cute.
He's leaving now anyway.
She knows.
She
He
knows.
can talk.
Or Francesca, you can also represent yourself and then choose one of our other. Okay.
No.
Okay.
I think I'd have Virna as myself
Mm-hmm.
and Gabrielle as my partner.
Okay. Good.
I don't know which partner would that be. I don't know. Well, whatever. That one. That
The
I
one
showed.
that you showed in the photo.
Okay.
Okay, we don't need to. We do it differently, Francesca. We are not defining who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is just a partner, an ex-partner, because you don't have a current partner, right?
That'll be interesting. The next
Yeah.
one.
So it's an ex-partner, the one who wants to, with where something is to be solved. Yeah. Okay. All right, Gabrielle and Virna. Connect with the field, relax. Take a couple of breaths, and when you're ready, I want you to look in each other's eyes. And I probably stop sharing here. Gabriel, what is with you?
I have the impression that
You're the partner.
He doesn't see me.
Mm-hmm. And what are you doing?
I have the impression that there's like a boundary, and I cannot get in this deep touch that I want.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like, since I have, there's like a kind of, there's no movement.
For you.
No, for she doesn't move.
So you want to move?
I want her to move, and there's no movement.
And what do you
cannot
feel a
do anything.
movement? Do you
I
feel a
cannot-
movement for yourself?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I wanted to go towards her,
Mm-hmm.
but she doesn't move like.
Okay.
And I can't do anything because there's some kind of fixate. So she's very fixed. She's not flexible.
Okay, let's see what Virna says.
I'll say that I'm okay.
Yeah.
At the beginning, when she started talking, I feel kind of a barrier as she was explaining.
Mm-hmm.
But as she kept talking, I felt comfortable. I felt okay. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there is a connection.
There's no, because I have the impression that there's no, don't want it in a real connection.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's how it looks. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Virna, say to Gabriel. I don't want this relationship.
It's like I felt a little thing to say that. I don't want this relationship.
Is this true?
I'm not 100% sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I felt a little something to say this.
Mm-hmm. Was not so easy. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Then say to Gabriel, I have to leave.
I have to leave.
Is that better?
Yes.
Although it is hard.
Pardon?
Say to her, although it is hard.
Although it is hard, I have to leave.
How's that, Gabriel?
I feel sorry a little bit.
Sorry or sad?
Sorry, not
Mm.
sad.
Sorry for what?
That there was no movement. That there was no other choice.
Say to her, I'm sad.
I'm sad.
I'm
I
sad that
feel
you're leaving. Say that.
I'm very sad that you are leaving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Birna?
I just find that she's not doing anything for to
Encourage
for
you.
this. Yeah, to he's not giving any movement,
Okay.
and this is why I feel that I need to go to leave because you're not doing anything about it.
That's it, what it is. Exactly. That's a fact. Birna, say to Gabriel, thank you
Thank you.
for the good times
Thank you for the good times
and the bad times.
and the bad times.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How's that for you, Birna?
It's a little bit of kind of bouncing me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel sad.
Very good. And say to her, I actually also feel sad.
I actually also feel sad.
Very good. How's that for you, Gabriel?
Better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Much better.
Very good. Okay. You're gonna say to Gabriel, yes.
Yes.
That's good. Gabriel, say to Werner auch also yes.
Yes.
Good. Deep breathing. That's Let's see how you can. Is the wall still there?
No.
No. Now see yourself if you can equally walk towards each other. Is there a movement towards each other? An equal movement, Werner? Can you walk towards Gabriel?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Walk towards each other until you meet face to face. Very good. And take both hands up like this and put it towards the other, like that. Yes. Just let the love flow through the hands like a loop, going through the hands, through the body, through the heart, back to the other hands. And so it's looping and flowing one to the other. Very good. And take the hands towards your heart. And then take a little bow, just the head, just a little bow. Leichte Verbeugung mit dem Kopf. And then say to each other, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How is it now?
It's good.
Me now, I have the impression that there's a heart-to-heart contact.
Mm-hmm.
And she sees me now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was more blending the energy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Okay. And we leave it here. Wonderful. Okay. So thank you. So whoever partner that was Francesca, but it was unresolved, you know. And that is what you see when you work with romantic relationships in a family constellation, especially with when somebody wants to look at the current partner. It is very wise to invite ex-partners, represented obviously, to come to to be constellated, come up. Because if there's an unresolved relationship with an ex-partner, then the current partnership cannot really fully come into full fruition, right? So that's why it's great to work through all in the course, like in this course, and in your personal development, your personal growth. It's great to work through all your ex-partnerships and make sure there's nothing left.
I have like 3, so it's easy.
Yeah. So one is already done. Okay, very good. So let's do Virna, who we are working with your ex-husband, and yep, and who wants to be the ex-husband, Gabriel or Francesca?
Does he have to be the ex-husband?
Yeah. Has to.
Okay. Okay.
Who is who? Vienna.
I think Francesca represents me, and Gabriel represents him.
Okay, very good. Okay. Few deep breaths, connect with the field. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Very good. Francesca, what do you feel?
A little bit of pain.
Mm-hmm.
There.
And when you look at Gabriel, what comes up?
I don't know, I feel like I don't know.
No connection.
I barely know who that is.
Uh-huh. Gabriel.
Me too.
Mhm. Mhm. Any kind of emotions?
It's like a bit sad that it's like I should remember, but I don't.
Mm-hmm. Francesca, say to Gabriel, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
How's that for you, Francesca?
It feels right.
Yeah,
I don't really feel it, but it is right to say it.
that's enough. Yeah, you know that. And Gabriel, how's that for you when she says it?
There was no feeling before, so it does.
Has not changed.
No.
Okay.
But
Say
there's
to
also no negative resentments. There's nothing like this is
Francesca, say to Gabriel, I'm
like it is.
sorry. Yeah. Say to her, I'm sorry that I hurt you.
I'm sorry that I hurt you.
Mhm. Francesca, say to Gabriel, I didn't know it hurt so much.
I didn't know it hurt so much. Now can I say? It's like I want him to tell me the same. It's like I feel I didn't do worse than him. I
Mhm.
feel like we should do this for each other.
Mhm. Gabriel, what's going on?
I feel, when she said this to me, I felt more open. I felt like it was time to say this to me,
Mhm.
but it was now I have also this, I have like a proud
Yeah.
feeling like,
Superiority. Yeah.
no, I was, I mean, it, when she said I don't say it to her because she hurt me more.
Mhm.
So it's like kind of I'm too proud to say sorry to her. I feel more open now. I feel that when she said this to me, but I can't say this to her.
Mm. Say to her, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's forgiving and forgotten.
It's forgiving and forgotten.
Mhm. Is it true?
I think I have a little work to do with this.
Mhm.
It's like I want to, but there's some like rubbish left because I believe it when I said that I needed him to say sorry.
Mm.
Not like I want you to go on your knees and blame it all on you, but just say to each other. To me, was important for whatever has happened in the past. Without even going into details. But I think if he can't, then I'd rather do the work and forgive and forget.
Gabriel, say to Francesca, thank you.
Thank you.
For everything you gave to me
For everything you gave to me
that I couldn't balance.
but I couldn't balance.
How's that, Francesca? Good.
Yeah. I think that's the best you can do.
And say to Gabriel as well, thank you.
Thank you. And you're welcome.
Yeah. Take a couple of deep breaths. And then open eye. Look each other in the eyes and say again, thank you. Both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now I'm going my own way. Both.
And now I'm going my own way.
And now I'm going my own way.
Okay, thank you. That was it. Werner, how are you?
Better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel very emotional and I pressure in the throat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Gabriel behave exactly like he likes to behave. Yeah, like I don't feel anything. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, all right. You want to go? You go. You know, like not showing that emotion. Yeah.
Can't deal with it. He has no possibility to do differently. If I felt it that way, I felt like a lot of compassion. Like it just
Yeah,
Good.
it's that kind of compatibility that you're not feeling my pain. Oh, you pretend that you're fine. Fine, if you're fine, you continue being fine. I'm not. I'm going.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Yeah. So there was also something left to resolve,
Yes.
obviously.
Yes.
That's often the case, and that's really good to work on all of this when to go ahead.
At the end, I felt pressure here at the back. That's why I put my hands at the
That's
back.
exactly what Francesca felt. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so a little consolation just to see how you work with couples. It is always good to work with the ex-partners first, or most people come to you and want to work with their current relationship, but it's normally a good idea to work first with the ex relationships. And we learn all about the use of the words in the next module. So I'm not explaining that in greater depth here. It is just really important when you start to work that you are looking at the little signs, that you get from the representatives and find that what is describing it accurately. That's how you start. Otherwise, you're not opening anything up and there is no movement. So these are the little signs. So Gabrielle was obviously completely blocked off his emotions. Yeah, that was clear, the way she expressed it, and that is normally a defense mechanism for somebody who was hurt, right?
Because at the end, I felt more than at the beginning. So it was like there was because he did something, or in this case, me did something, there was a movement, but I had this impression that he likes to build this kind of, okay, is like it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And when we finished, then there was more feelings, like
Yeah, that's exactly what you
at
want
the
to
end.
achieve. Otherwise, you couldn't help. The movement has to take place, and emotions need to release. Yeah, emotions want to be released. And it's all small steps, you know.
Yeah.
This is one emotion release is more than enough for one constellation, you know. Yeah. Okay, so we have 5 to 10 more minutes, but we been practically through. I have a couple of more slides. I'm not even sure if we need that, but I will bring them up because in the recording you can see them and pause them and read them. Yeah. So when you work with that, then it's there and you can repeat it, recapture it. So in general, relationships is by definition you are relating to somebody else, right? So just think about it. You have a relationship is because you are relating yourself to somebody else. And a relationship can only exist through giving and receiving. There's nothing else that you do. Otherwise, if there wouldn't be giving and receiving, there wouldn't be a relationship because there's no exchange. Yeah. Just to be also aware of the mechanisms, yeah, which is really sounds so simple, but it is really important to be aware of it. And this is when in every system is the same, right? Every single system needs an exchange. Every cell needs an exchange. Every system needs an exchange. The family system needs an exchange with the members. Families exchange, systems exchange with each other. This is when when somebody's entangled with the family system through destiny or through action. Yeah, so this is how family systems start to meet and exchange. Yeah, so there's always exchange going on. Without it, there's no life, no life. So um, so that's just I just go over that because that's what we just said. Just to be aware, if there is no exchange, that is proven in prisons, for example, that the worst thing you can do to a prisoner is to put him in solitary confinement, meaning his absolute isolation, no other person to talk to exchange anything, nothing. And this nobody can survive that. So we are exchanging permanently, and the exchange is always giving and receiving. Do you see that in countries? You see that in political systems. We saw that in Germany, of course, with Eastern West Germany, where the East Germanies and the Soviet Union had practically no exchange. But we're talking about the German East Germany and the West Germany were not allowed to exchange anything, and this system had to collapse. These systems collapse. They cannot survive for long. Families are such a system, right? The members exchange permanent information, giving and receiving energy, nourishment, and love. But they are, and here we are back to the orders of love, they are following a certain order. It depends on the nature of the relationship what the right order is. And now you know there are in general 3 relationships that are defining the order of giving and receiving. Yeah. The first relationship is from parent to child, which is giving. The second relationship is from child to parent, which is receiving. And the third relationship is from adult to adult, which is giving and receiving equally. And that is so simple. And that's all you really need to remember when you work. So we talked about that a little bit. So one who is giving all the time without allowing others to give, what is he saying? Better you feel guilty than I. You might know somebody. Everybody knows somebody who is like this, who makes you feel guilty. Yeah. Watch out for people who want to help all the time without being asked. They are collecting debt. They are debt collectors. One day they come and they claim, because there's no balance. Ask for something the partner can actually give. We talked about that before, to balance a relationship out. And you can do that very literally. If you want to keep the relationship, then you can steer that. You are like a facilitator in your own relationship. We talked about that. So don't ask for anything indefinite. Always ask for very concrete things, or concrete exchange, a concrete exchange. Another pitfall is sympathy or pity. Yeah, this is not giving or receiving. It divides. Yeah, it is always, it's not equal. Somebody who feels pity feels actually superior, feels like a parent, right? Or somebody who is sympathetic with somebody else is always superior. It's not equal, superior. And because we have an adult relationship, not mother-father relationship, this is not in the order. Yeah, cannot work. Receiving, you see that often, is sometimes more difficult than giving. And that has to do with the conscience we've been grown up with. Yeah. So this is just, it is not in the nature of the thing. It's not in the nature of receiving or giving. It is because of the conscience. So we're going to round up module 1 now, because this is the last few minutes of module 1. And please unmute yourself. I would like each of you to say one thing that you have learned in the whole module, and the weekend. One thing that comes to your mind that you have not known before and that you know now.
The mother and the father is not allowed to move towards the child.
Very good. Tip top. Virna, anything comes to your mind?
The belief of Bellinger says that parents only give to the children, and the children don't have to give back. So that is something that I kind of believe, but there is a contradictory thing. Yeah, but for me, it's something new. That okay, the river runs this way. We give without.
Yeah, very good. Very good. 2 thumbs up, Virna. Anything, Francesca, that comes to your mind?
Yeah, it was the thing about how, well, I think both parents are just supposed to give like the energy of love. Which basically, to me, destroys a lot of psychotherapy. It's like,
yeah, totally. That's why he was so controversial, because he said literally, and he was a psychotherapist.
Yeah.
And he said literally, he said he's destroying the psychotherapy, or he said actually he can dance down the psychotherapy on 3 words.
Yeah.
Please, thank you, and yes.
Because then, it's a lot easier. It's just about stopping the mind.
Exactly.
Judgment.
That's great. And this is also leading us straight to module 2, where we do exactly that.
Stopping the mind?
We are looking at the words, yes, please, and thank you, and how to apply them in family constellation. And with these 3 words, we can wrap up every single possible family constellation that will ever exist. Isn't that fantastic?
Awesome.
Very good.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
I
When is
wish
mo-
you.
When is module 2?
The best thing is you go on the website and book it right now with your coupon codes, so you don't forget it, and then you get a reminder. It's in 1 month roughly.
I thought you'd tell me now.
I can tell you is on the 12th of February, from the 12th to till the 14th.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So don't forget that we have the training workshop on the 16th. If you can
Next
make
weekend.
it, that would be great. Yeah, that would be great if you can make it.
Is it Sunday or Saturday?
You have to put that in your calendar, Gabriel. You need a personal assistant.
16th on the Saturday.
For us.
Yeah. For us, yes.
Yeah.
So one of the things important that I saw as well was the expectation. Those are things that comes on the way. Expectations, judgment. Yeah. Keep that in mind.
Very good. Very good. What do you want to do next? Is something that you can think about? Just a little homework. And remember, yeah.
Constellations. What is do?
I don't explain it.
Okay.
You don't explain it. Like, what do you want to do? But what you want to do about what?
Explain it. I don't explain anything.
Tomorrow.
So you got all the overview for the training. You have a list of books. You start your self-study. The module 1 recordings will come out this week. If you have problems to watch them, refer to the troubleshooting on the document I sent you. Yeah. And hopefully I see you on the workshop next weekend. That's the training workshop. At the trainees who have already completed the modules, especially module 1 to 3, are facilitating under my supervision. And for you, this is an excellent exercise, of course. It's just always because it counts towards your experience for the training. You have this extra curriculum hours, 20 hours, and that would count towards it. So, and of course, it's always good to be in a family constellation and be representative anyhow. So
I'm still looking for one for next Saturday.
Yeah,
for a friend to come over.
Yeah, well.
So we have people who can take part, or what?
What do you mean?
Yes.
For the workshop.
It's a training
other people
workshop.
can take part.
So the people who have completed the 3 modules need to bring a friend and be the facilitator of their constellation.
Yeah.
While I come as a representative.
Yeah.
And I can as a representative and as inviting a friend.
You can invite friends when you have finished module 1 to 3 and it is your training workshop.
That's what because that's what I asked, because I heard that she will bring a friend. That's why.
I got an email from
that. Did you complete the 3 modules?
You didn't complete the first 3 modules.
I did one in November, one in December.
I'm talking about module 1, 2, 3, not a module. This is module 1. And then you have module 2 in February and module 3 in March. And from April on, you can facilitate.
Because then you had made already 4 and 5.
Okay. I see.
Yeah?
That's why I asked. So I understood. I have to go to sleep. I'm so tired now.
Very good. And this is only morning for you.
Yeah. But I stood up at 4:30, so
you got up, yeah. Okay, wonderful. So you have a good one, and I'll see you hopefully next weekend. Bye.
Bye, bye, bye,
Bye.
bye.